Welcome to our JLD220 semester assignment. We are Group 12, consisting of Kirsten Pierce, Gemma Varner, Caitlin Vinant, Shannon McCallum, and Victoria McNally. The topic we are discussing today is a lack of family, school, community partnerships and how they affect learner performance. Section A is about issues associated with the lack of family, school and community partnerships. This was completed by Shannon McCallum. Section B is about how the aforementioned issues impact learner performance, and this was completed by Caitlin Vinant. Section C is about the role of the teacher and was completed by Gemma Varner. Section D is about asset and resource mobilization and was completed by Victoria McNally. One thing to consider before we delve into these issues is the fact that they are all interdependent and connected in some way. For example, a lack of resources will lead to unmotivated learners, which will further exacerbate the issue of school attendance. Poor school attendance. A lack of family, school, and community partnership results in a lack of support for individual learners, causing them to feel as though they are lost in the system. Learners therefore feel that there is no need to attend classes because their families, nor schools, nor the community pay attention to their education, and they therefore see it as unimportant or disposable. Unmotivated learners are also a result of weak support systems from families, schools, and communities. If learners are not being pushed or stimulated by their parents, teachers, and community morals and conditions to take their education seriously, they often become unmotivated and unwilling to learn. All of these issues here are linked to poor academic performance, because if learners are regularly absent from school or unmotivated and unwilling to learn, they will not reach their full academic potential, and their marks will reflect this notion. It is also scientifically proven that positive parental involvement directly influences a child's performance and grades. Exclusion of learners with barriers becomes an issue when there is a lack of family and school partnerships present in a child's microsystem. If teachers and families do not collaborate effectively, learners who face barriers are often overlooked. When teachers and families have strong partnerships, it is easier to communicate with one another and ensure that learners who are facing barriers at home and at school are supported appropriately. Lack of resources in schools often becomes a problem when schools and families are not supported by their communities. Many schools rely on community donations, events, and collaboration efforts in order to fundraise for educational resources and provide holistic development for their learners. When schools do not receive this support from their community, they often become unable to provide learners with modern and effective resources. In this slide, we are going to assess the way in which the aforementioned issues affect learner performance. Poor school attendance. Regularly missing school means that learners will fall behind academically as they are not actively participating in and engaging with the content which is being taught on a regular basis. This will create gaps in their knowledge that teachers will eventually be unable to fill, which will in turn affect their ability to participate in class as well as their academic performance. Unmotivated learners. If learners are unmotivated and unwilling to learn and engage with the learning process, learning will no longer be meaningful, and this may affect learners' ability to retain and understand content and therefore to perform academically. Poor academic performance. When learners are struggling academically, they are more likely to fail and therefore eventually to drop out of school altogether. Poor academic performance also affects learners' behavior inside the classroom, as they are less willing to participate if they develop a fear of failure and their self-esteem is negatively impacted by the knowledge that they are performing poorly and not doing their best. Exclusion of learners with barriers. When learners with barriers are excluded due to a lack of family, school, and community partnerships, they are often lost in the system, as mentioned before. Learners who are not receiving the correct support according to the barriers they are facing are often unable to participate and perform academically as they cannot overcome or make sense of these barriers. Lack of resources. A lack of resources results in many teachers and learners missing exciting teaching opportunities, as without relevant resources, learning may become boring and mundane. Boring lessons will mean that many learners struggle to connect to the content and to pay attention to what is being taught. This may severely impact learners' ability to participate in fun classroom activities, as well as to perform to the best of their academic ability. It is clear from our research that teachers play an important role in helping strengthen family, school, and community partnerships, as they are the connecting factor between all three parties. That is why it is important for teachers to know their learners and their individual context, as this allows teachers to ensure that each learner receives the emotional, physical, and academic support that they need in order to reach their full potential and develop holistically, regardless of their background, race, religion, or disability. Knowing their learners will also allow teachers to better identify learner needs, as well as allow them to better involve parents and communities in the learning process, thereby strengthening family, school, and community partnerships. Plan effectively. Effective and elaborate planning will allow teachers to ensure that each learner is being effectively supported, recognized, and stimulated so that they can engage in meaningful learning which is relevant to them and their personal interests and goals. This will help keep learners motivated and will in turn reflect in their academic performance. Get creative with resources. In order to address the lack of resources issue, teachers must be creative in seeking and making their own resources. This is especially useful in the foundation phase, as many musical instruments and toys can be collected or made using cheap recycled materials. Use a variety of teaching methods. In order to improve learner performance and to ensure that meaningful learning takes place, teachers must use a variety of teaching methods. This will ensure that teachers cater for all learning styles, which will help learners retain information and will improve their academic performance and their likeliness to participate inside the classroom. Utilize all available resources. A key aspect in overcoming all the aforementioned challenges is ensuring that teachers utilize all the resources which are available to them effectively. This includes utilizing family and community partnerships, as well as relative health facilities and government-based support systems such as DBSTs. This will ensure that teachers as well as learners are receiving the support they need in order to do their job to the best of their ability. If teachers are supported and happy, they are more likely to enjoy their job and to put more effort into helping learners achieve their full potential. Asset mobilization is a key aspect in overcoming issues that arise when there is a lack of family, school, and community partnerships present in a learner or teacher's bioecological system. Asset or resource mobilization allows teachers to utilize all the support systems and structures around them to ensure that learners' needs are met, as well as to ensure that they are functioning effectively and purposefully as teachers. Some available resources in schools and communities may include special schools as resource centers. These schools can be seen as major assets because they are equipped to provide a range of support services to surrounding mainstream schools. This can be extremely useful for schools that are struggling to provide adequate support to learners with barriers on their own. School-based support teams. These are teams which are established by schools whose primary function is to ensure learner and teacher support. SBSTs can prove to be a great resource to teachers and learners when utilized correctly, as they give teachers the support that they may need in order to ensure that they are supporting learners effectively and appropriately. Community facilities such as sports halls and libraries can be used as resources for learning if schools do not have these facilities of their own. For example, if a school does not have a library, a field trip to the community's public library can be used as an extensive learning opportunity, as well as a way to strengthen school and community partnerships. Social events. Many schools rely on social events within the community for fundraising, as well as for recruiting future pupils. Examples of these events include school concerts, regular church or religious ceremonies, etc. Teacher-parent relationships. These relationships play a crucial part in improving learner performance and helping learners overcome personal barriers. Utilizing these relationships as resources includes teachers involving parents in their child's learning by inviting them to school or asking for help with homework. Each of these resources, when utilized effectively, can be used to strengthen family, school, and community partnerships in order to overcome the aforementioned issues. From our research, it is evident that school, family, and community partnerships form part of learners' bioecological systems and therefore impact learners on various levels. A lack of these partnerships therefore has an adverse effect on learner development as well as learner performance. In order to overcome the barriers discussed here, we as teachers must acknowledge the important role we play in helping strengthen and develop these partnerships so as to ensure that learners reach their full potential. It is also important for relevant parties to realize that in order to overcome these challenges, such as exclusion and poor academic performance, they need to be willing to collaborate with one another on various levels and multiple occasions. Another important aspect in overcoming the challenges is ensuring that families, schools, and communities use all available resources to the best of their ability in order to strengthen relationships as well as to provide support and positive growth to their youth.